Mataji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraet Nashtaprayeshu Avadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Today we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 20, verses 1 through 11. Text 1. Sri Sukadev Goswami said, O King Parikshit, when Bali Maharaj was thus advised by his spiritual master Sukracharya, his family priest, he remained silent for some time. And then, after full deliberation, he replied to his spiritual master as follows. Text 2. Bali Maharaj said, as you have already stated, the principle of religion that does not hinder one's economic development, sense gratification, fame, and means of livelihood is the real occupational duty of the householder. I also think that this religious principle is correct. Text 3. I am the grandson of Maharaj Prahlad. How can I withdraw my promise because of the greed for money when I have already said that I shall give this land? How can I behave like an ordinary cheater, especially toward a Brahmana? Text 4. There is nothing more sinful than untruthfulness. Because of this, Mother Earth once said, I can bear any heavy thing except a person who is a liar. Text 5. I do not fear hell, poverty, an ocean of distress, fall down from my position, or even death itself, as much as I fear cheating a Brahmana. Text 6. My Lord, you can also see that all the material opulences of this world are certainly separated from their possessor at death. Therefore, if the Brahmanadev is not satisfied by whatever gifts one has given, why not please him with the riches one is destined to lose at death? Text 7. The Adichis, CB, and many other great personalities were willing to sacrifice even their lives for the benefit of the people in general. This is the evidence of history. So why not give up this insignificant land? What is the serious consideration against it? Text 8. O best of the Brahmanas, certainly the great demoniac kings who were never reluctant to fight enjoyed this world, but in due course of time, everything that they had was taken away, except their reputation, by which they continued to exist. In other words, one should try to achieve a good reputation instead of anything else. Text 9. O best of the Brahmanas, many men have laid down their lives on the battlefield, being unafraid of fighting, but rarely has one gotten the chance to give his accumulated wealth faithfully to a saintly person who creates holy places. Text 10. By giving charity, a benevolent and merciful person undoubtedly becomes even more auspicious, especially when gives charity to a person like your good self. Under the circumstances, I must give this little brahmachari whatever charity he wants from me. Text 11. O great sages, great saintly persons like you, being completely aware of the Vedic principles for performing ritualistic ceremonies and yajnas, worship Lord Vishnu in all circumstances. Therefore, whether that same Lord Vishnu has come here to give me all the benedictions or punish me as an enemy, I must carry out his order and give him the requested tract of land without hesitation. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Ajay Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Venudas Prabhuji. Please accept our humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Please take over the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Radharani Mataji and Sundarama Prabhu, for giving this opportunity to share a few points from Srila Prabhupada's purports for my own purification. And thank you, Achyut Prabhu, for reading today's Bhagavatam section slokas translation. So I'll start with prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pachatta Deshatarani. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you all for joining for today's Bhagavatam session. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th Canto, chapter 20, Balimara surrenders the universe, from slokas 1 to 11. So just to give a background, we are in the section of Vamandev. So Vamandev appeared as the son of Mother Aditi and Kashyap Prajapati. And after appearing, so all once his sacred ceremony, thread ceremony is completed, so he came to know that Bali Maharaj is performing this wonderful yajna. So he went to that yajna arena, and when Bali Maharaj saw this wonderful Brahmana, the dwarf Brahmana, so the Supreme Lord Vamandev, so initially he thought he is the son of a Brahmana. So he asked him to ask anything what he liked it. So and then Lord Vamandeva, we heard in the last chapter, he praised the dynasty of Bali Maharaj, the father and forefathers like that. So Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha for their heroic activities. And then after praising his family, then he begged for 3 steps of land. So and then Bali Maharaj agreed to give this land in charity. Then we saw the discussions. Bali Maharaj saying that this is a very insignificant charity you are asking, because Bali Maharaj can give anything more than those 3 steps like that. But Sukracharya could understand that Lord Vamandevi is none other than Supreme Lord Vishnu. So then he told to Bali Maharaj not to give these 3 steps, because with these 3 steps he can occupy everything and take away all the opulences of Bali Maharaj. So and Sukracharya gave so many scriptural injections how he can ignore this promise that he had given, or why he should not to give this charity like that. So in this chapter, so we will hear Bali Maharaj's responses and then Lord Vamandev's wonderful activities like that. So in the sections, slokas from 1 to 11. So this is the first sloka. So Sukadeva Goswami is mentioning that to Parikshit Maharaj, because this whole conversation is happening between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. So he's narrating all this Bhagavatam. So he said, when Bali Maharaj was thus advised by spiritual master, so he remained silent for some time. And then after full deliberation, he started replying. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport, quoting Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur commentary, saying that Bali Maharaj remained silent, Tushinam. So that is very important, because Bali Maharaj remained silent for some time because he is thinking, how could he disobey the instruction of his spiritual master, Sukracharya, because Sukracharya is spiritual master. Because it is the duty of a gentleman or sober personality like Bali Maharaj to follow the instructions of the spiritual master. Whatever he says, so you should follow it. But Bali Maharaj then also thought about that Sukracharya cannot be accepted or cannot be accepted as a spiritual master anymore because Bali Maharaj sees that Sukracharya has deviated from the duty of a spiritual master. So, and we see that in the scriptures, the duty of the spiritual master, the guru, is to take the disciple back home, back to Godhead. So, but here, instead of taking his disciple Bali Maharaj back home, back to Godhead, actually is creating obstacles in progressing the path of Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada quotes this Lord Rishabhadev's instructions to his 100 sons in Bhagavatam, saying that Guru na sasyat, swajano na sasyat, pita na sasyat, janani na sasyat. Like that, say that one who cannot deliver his dependents from the path of repeated birth and death should never become a guru, a spiritual master, a father or a husband, a mother, or a worshipable god, I mean demigod, like that. Because the goal of the conditioned living entity in this material world is to become a devotee of Supreme Lord Krishna or to progress in the path of Bhakti Yoga and then freed from the bondage of material existence. Takta deham punarjanma. So we should be moving in that directions. So our goal should be, once we leave this material body, we should not take another material body. We should go back home, back to Godhead. And in this process, the disciple takes the help of a spiritual master to attain the stage of Krishna consciousness. But now Sukracharya here is telling to his disciple Bali Maharaj to deny the promise to Vamandev. So, so we should try to please Krishna as best as we can. But here the Guru himself is telling not to please Krishna. So that's why Bali Maharaj thought that disobeying the orders of his Guru, spiritual master, there is no fault in that. Because Sukracharya is creating obstacles in progressing the path of Bhakti Yoga, which is not the duty of the Guru. So that's why he cannot be considered as anymore as a spiritual master. So that's the reason Prabhupada mentions in the purport that Bali Maharaj took little time. So he deliberated on this point, avahitaha. So he deliberated on this point. After deliberation, then he started speaking. And Prabhupada quotes that the scriptures, one of the sloka in Mahabharata, saying that Guru Rapi Avilaptasya Karya Karyam Ajanataha Utpata Pratipannasya Parityago Vidhyayate. Like, when a guru becomes, when he becomes entangled with material enjoyment, or he lost discrimination between what is right, what is wrong, then it is okay to reject him. So it's one should reject that kind of spiritual master because he has lost the discrimination between what is right and what is wrong. And Prabhupada also mentions in the purport that not only reject such a useless guru, but then one should accept a bona fide guru who is coming from parampara and following the footsteps of the previous acharyas. Even though that kind of a person is coming from a family of low caste or a chandala, like Avaishnava Guru Nasyat, Vaishnava Swapacha Guruho. Like, a person who is expert in all Vedic knowledge, but if he is not a Vaishnava, then even though he is born in a Brahmana family and knows all the knowledge, but he cannot be accepted as a spiritual master. But a person who is a Vaishnava, but he is coming from lower caste, he can become a spiritual master. So that's mentioned in Padma Purana. That's Prabhupada quotes in this sloka. So same thing applicable for even a father or a mother. So we saw that Lord Rishabhadev's instruction, that sloka, like even a father should help their son or a daughter to progress in the path of bhakti. But if father's instructions itself is deviating from the path of bhakti yoga, then a son can disobey the orders of the father, like we see in Prahlad Maharaj's case also, right? So Hiranyakashipu told Prahlad Maharaj not to chant the holy name of the Supreme Lord Hari. So Prahlad Maharaj disobeyed his instruction because it is not appropriate. And then Bali Maharaj, after deliberating, he started speaking, saying that whatever you stated, the principle of religion that doesn't hinder one's economic development, sense gratification, fame, and means of livelihood is the real occupation. This is what Sukracharya mentioned. If a principle is causing a problem to one's economic development, then that principle can be rejected. So, real occupation, duty of house. So, and Bali Maharaj think that this religious principle is also correct. So, Bali Maharaj, Prabhupada mentions in the purport that Bali Maharaj is giving an answer to Sukracharya in a meaningful and a grave way. Because Sukracharya stressed that ardham kamam yasho vrittim. So, the economic development, sense gratification, these must continue properly. That is the first duty of a man who is a householder. That's what Sukracharya mentioned. And Prabhupada mentions that's what we see in Kali Yuga also. So if any principle that causes their material condition, then they will not accept it. If we request anyone to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra for a few minutes, if they think that these few minutes can be used for their economic development, then they are rejecting it. So, but that's not appropriate. Prabhupada says that a devotee is determined to serve the Supreme Lord for his full satisfaction. Even in something coming in between that, so the devotee rejects it. That is the principle of bhakti. Prabhupada quotes the 6 divisions of surrender mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, saying anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya vachana. Whatever is favorable to the path of bhakti yoga or for the devotional service, that should be accepted. And whatever is unfavorable, that should be rejected. So not that, only goal is economic development or sense gratification, because whatever the economic development one does, that will go away at the time of leaving the body. So that's why here Prabhupada mentions that a devotee, the principle of bhakti or a devotee is he accepts whatever is favorable and he rejects whatever is unfavorable. So that's why Bali Maharaj had this opportunity to contribute everything for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So Bali Maharaj decided that he wanted to give everything in charity to the Supreme Lord. So that's why he decided that he should reject the advice of Sukracharya. So hence he started replying to Sukracharya, how he wanted to move on. So in the third sloka, we see that Bali Maharaj is saying that I am the grandson of Maharaj Prahaladitaha. So he is the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. And Prabhupada mentions that Bali Maharaj is already blessed by his grandfather Prahlad Maharaj. So he is saying that how can I withdraw my promise because of greed for money? And which I have already said that I shall give this land. And if I behave like an ordinary cheater, how can I behave like an ordinary cheater, especially toward a Brahmana? So, and Prabhupada mentions that though Bali Maharaj is born in the family of Daityas, demons, but he's a pure devotee because he's blessed by the Prahlad Maharaj, his grandfather. And Prabhupada mentions there are 2 kinds of devotees. So one is Sadhana Siddha and another is Krupa Siddha. So Sadhana Siddha means one who become a devotee by regularly following this process of Bhakti Yoga. Chanting, of course, in Kali Yuga, chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So by following this process, so one will become Sadhana Siddha after in due course of time. So when they are matured. But Krupa Siddha is one who gets the mercy of the Guru and Krishna. So by their Krupa, so they become advanced in the path of bhakti. And Prabhupada gives example is Yagnapatnis in Bhagavatam that they're mentioned. Yagnapatnis who got the mercy of Krishna and Balarama. Even though their husbands, who are Brahmanas, very learned in Vedic knowledge, but they could not achieve the mercy of Krishna and Balarama. But these Yagnapatnis, they are simple wives of these Brahmanas, but they got the mercy of the Krishna and Balarama. So that's a Krupa Siddhi. So similarly, here also Maharaj Bali got the mercy of Prahlad Maharaj. So that's why he is also one of the person under the category of the Krupasiddhi. Of course, in Kali Yuga, most of the practitioners, at least I can talk myself that I speak myself, we receive the mercy of some Vaishnavas. So they pray for us, they come and give their association and bless us to be connected to this path of Bhakti Yoga so that we can continue to progress it. So one time, one of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, he asked Prabhupada, so what qualification they had to be connected to this wonderful process of Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada says that you don't have any qualification. I created qualification, or I gave the qualification. So that is the mercy of the Guru, Krupa Siddhi. So here also, Bali Maharaj mentioning that he is the grandson of Maharaj Prahlad because he has been blessed by him. And in the fourth sloka, Bali Maharaj said that there is nothing more sinful than untruthfulness. And here Bali Maharaj is quoting that Mother Earth once saying that I can bear any heavy things except a person who is a liar. So we can understand, how important to be truthful. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that on this earth there are many, many great mountains which are very heavy. And there is no difficult for Mother Earth to bear them. But here Mother Earth is saying that so one who is a untruthful person or liar, so she cannot bear that person. And Prabhupada says that in Kali Yuga, so lying is a very uncommon, a very, very common affair. Maya eva vyavaharika. Vyavaharika means a common affair. So in the most common dealings, people are accustomed to speak lies in Kali Yuga. So then we can understand how this Mother Earth is overburdened, not because of the population, but because of the people who are speaking untruthful words or lying. And in the fifth sloka, and Bali Maharaj is also quoting that he is not fear for hell. If he has to go to the hell because of his not following the instruction of his spiritual master, or poverty, or if Vamandev takes everything, or ocean of distress, or falling from my position, even death also. But what he is fearing is cheating a Brahmana. So that's why, as a practitioner, we should try as best as we can not to lie or not to cheat anyone, especially other Vaishnavas or Brahmanas. In the text 6, Bali Maharaj is mentioning that all the material population of this world are certainly separated from their possessor at death. So then why not please Lord Vamandev with all the riches? Because anyhow, these riches will go away at the time of death. So, Mrityu Sarvasya Haramcha, like, at the time of death, so we'll be separated from everything, whatever we are connected with this body related, whether a wealth or family members or name and fame, whatever it is, it will go away. So here, so Bali Maharaj, Prabhupada mentions the purport that Bali Maharaj decided to give everything to Lord Vamandev. And in the seventh sloka, we see that Bali Maharaj is giving example, Dadichi, Sibi, so all these great personalities, they're willing to sacrifice their life for the benefit of the people in general. So this is the evidence of history. So why not give up this insignificant land? So because Bali Maharaj, why gave this example? Prabhupada mentions the purport that Sukracharya might be coming up with another question that, are there any personalities who gave up everything in charity? So something like that. So Bali Maharaj is giving example here that, Dadichi, Sibi, so they are great personalities who are willing to sacrifice even their life itself. So these examples Bali Maharaj is giving so that Sukracharya understand that there are great examples in the history that who are willing to sacrifice their life for keeping the word or for the sake of the other people. Like we hear in the previous sections that Dadichi he gave up all his bones to the demigods so that the Indra can make Vajrayudha like that. And we hear the great charity that Sibi Maharaj went through it like that. So all these things. So that's why Prabhupada mentioned in the purport that so everything will be taken away at the time of death. So then why not give this everything for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord? And Prabhupada also quotes Chanika Pandita saying that Sa nimitte varam tyago vinase niyate sati. Like our money and possessions, everything will be taken away. So then why not use for the noble cause or for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord? So that's why Bali Maharaj decided to disobey the orders of his spiritual master. And in the 8th sloka, Bali Maharaj is mentioning that the great demonic kings were never reluctant to fight, enjoyed this world. But in due course of time, everything had been taken away except their reputation. So one should try to achieve good reputation instead of anything else. And this is another answer Bali Maharaj is giving. Like, Prabhupada mentions that one's life duration is very short. But in this short life of time, if one can do something good, then their reputation will continue to exist after they leaving the body also. And we see that, all our great acharyas, like, Ramanujacharya, Srila Madhvacharya, so they have all done very wonderful things. So due to that, we are all getting benefited. So even though they disappeared from this earthly planet, but still their reputation is still continuing. So similarly, Srila Prabhupada gave this wonderful process for all of us. So even after he disappeared from this earth planet, but we still hear his reputation is continuing. So that's why here Prabhupada mentions that one should do good things so that even though after they're leaving this body, so their reputation will continue to exist. So Prabhupada mentions that since Bali Maharaj decided not to follow the instruction of his spiritual master and decided to give everything for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, so he became one of the 12 Mahajanas. So we have 12 Mahajanas and one of them is Bali Maharaj because of this wonderful act. And in the 9th sloka, Bali Maharaj is saying that many men have laid in their lives in the battlefield, being unafraid of fighting. But who has gotten this kind of chance that one can give this accumulated wealth faithfully to a saintly person who creates holy places? And Prabhupada mentions the purport that many Kshatriyas, of course, they give up their life while fighting for their country, like that. But very rare, so we don't hear any person giving up everything, all their wealth as a charity. And especially charity should be given to a worthy person. So that kind of charity Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita is in mode of goodness. Of course, this kind of charity, what Bali Maharaj is giving for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord is above the 3 modes. So Sattva, Rajo, Tamo, Guna, above 3 modes. So it's a transcendental charity because he is using it for the purpose of the Krishna's pleasure. So similarly, if we use anything that we possess for the preaching of Krishna consciousness or for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord to serve the devotees, then it becomes a transcendental charity. So it's above the 3 modes. And in the 10th sloka, Bali Maharaj is saying that by giving charity, a benevolent and merciful person undoubtedly becomes even more auspicious. especially when it is given a charity person like your good self. So that's why he's saying that I must give this charity to this brahmachari who is looking for this charity from him like that. And in the last sloka for today, so he's saying that he's also praising his spiritual master, so-called spiritual master, Sukracharya, is saying that great saintly persons like you, so they are aware of Vedic principles and they worship Lord Vishnu in all circumstances. And Prabhupada quotes Padma Purana saying that Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnur Aradhanam Param. So out of all the worships, worshipping Lord Vishnu is the ultimate goal of life. So that's what even here also Balimara is saying that even you worship Lord Vishnu in all circumstances. And then when the same Lord is coming here to give all benedictions or punish him, so I must carry out his order and give him the requested tract of land without hesitation. So, and Prabhupada mentions that even the Varnasrama institutions that are established by Supreme Lord himself, the purpose is to please the Krishna. So Varnasrama acharatva purushena parapuman Vishnuraradyate panta. So he's saying that, the whether we are situated in Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Sudra or Brahmachari, Grostha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasi, whatever the place we are in, Sthane Sthiti, we can stay there, but our activities of our whatever the Varna and Ashrama we are in should be helping us to please Krishna or his devotees, or to help us to progress in the path of bhakti. So otherwise, Bhagavatam says that Shama eva hi kevalam. So if they are not helping us to progress in the path of bhakti, then whatever the activities that we are doing, then they are waste of labor. So whatever the activities that we are doing, whatever the time, energy that we are spending on those activities, if they are not helping us to progress in the path of bhakti, then they are all simply waste of time or waste of labor like that. So that Bali Maharaj is giving very wonderfully replying to Sukracharya that he wanted to give this charity and is giving all these reasons. And then we'll continue to hear the Bali Maharaj's reply to this his spiritual master Sukracharya in the next session also. So I'll pause it here. Thank you all for giving this opportunity. Gandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo. Hare Krishna.
Very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for very beautiful class.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.